West War Room Rivals is sponsored by Emporia State Federal Credit Union. Learn more at esfcu.com. Text or call the number 620-342-2336 to get started today. ESFCU is the Shovix banking of choice, federally insured by the NCUA. This episode of West War Room Rivals is brought to you by JBW Solutions Industrial Safety Services, your remote safety partner no matter where work takes you. From the job site to the office, JBW Solutions brings OSHA 10 and 30 training, plus a full lineup of compliance services straight to your screen. Whether you're a small crew or a major operation, they make safety simple, accessible, and effective. Visit jbwsolutionsllc.com to learn more today and stay compliant wherever you are. West War Room Rivals is sponsored by Field Ops. Kansas sports fields just got an upgrade with Field Ops. Looking to reserve top quality sports fields in Kansas? Whether you're organizing youth tournaments, adult leagues, or weekend pickup games, Field Ops is your go-to platform for discovering and booking the best athletic fields across the state. Instant online reservations, detailed field info such as locations, amenities, and photos. Field Ops is also trusted by coaches, organizers, and athletes. From Wichita to Overland Park, Field Ops has got you covered with real-time availability and streamlined scheduling. Get in the game at gofieldops.com/Kansas-KS. That's gofieldops.com/Kansas-KS.
All right. Welcome to the West War Room Rivals podcast where rivals collide. We just got done with an amazing show with the one, the only Chris Hoven, former defensive lineman for the Minnesota Vikings. I still got tingles from that show, guys. But, hey, go ahead and let's do a roll call, man.
All right. I'll start us off. Austin representing the still 0-2 Chiefs.
I'm Cory, represent Broncos country.
I'm Cody, repping Raider Nation. We're down bad, boys, but it's all right. We're bouncing back week 3.
And I am Matt, your host, representing Broncos country. And again, as always, we want to thank our sponsors. Thank you, Spy Optic, for the 6 shades. Make sure you guys use code ORANGE20 to get 20% off your entire purchase. We also want to thank Emporia State Federal Credit Union, Field Ops, our number one sponsor, JBW Solutions, veteran-owned, community-driven, safety-focused. We want to thank Homage, and we also want to thank Badger Barrel Cookers. They sent all of us a smoker. We're excited to use them. Cory and Austin already used theirs. So in a world of butterflies, make sure you are a Badger.
Let's go.
Boys, how are we feeling, man?
Yeah, so as Matt stated, we just finished doing a recording with Chris Hoven, former D-tackle. It was a blast. So I do encourage everybody that it'll be released. We'll come up with the date for it to be released. So make sure you guys are on the lookout for that. Chris is a stand-up guy. Great stories. Loved hearing him talk about John Randall. You know, getting to play with Derek Brooks, Simeon Rice, Rondé Barber, playing for Coach Monty Kippen in the Buccaneers when they had their stout and stacked defense in 2005. So again, be on the lookout for that. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can see when it's released, and we can go from there.
Nailed it.
It will be tough to kind of top that.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to top that, yeah.
Especially what we got to talk about, because, guys, let's say all of our teams lost. It's a dark day for the War Room.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
First time? Oh.
Yeah, it's just, well. I mean, I guess on the plus side of this is the Chargers won. So, I mean, technically an AFC West team did win. So, depending on how you want to look at it.
They don't count.
Denver should have won, but a stupid leverage penalty. I mean, we'll get into all that. So
Yeah.
Yeah, beaten by Danny Dimes, none other. So that was rough.
Yeah, whatever, Cody. Whatever.
Sorry.
Quarterback throw 3 interceptions again.
I know. It was not a great sight.
Hey, let's get to our Seggies here, boys.
Yes.
Let's
it's all about the Seggies now.
It's all about the Seggies. Let's do it.
All right. Well, I guess I'm the one that's kicking off the Black Ops Silver and Black Ops doing. I'm going to talk about the Raiders game, of course, Monday Night Football. As you guys alluded to, Geno Smith threw 3 interceptions. Watching some of that game, I was actually on a work assignment, so I was kind of in and out watching it. But for the most part, watching it, I think the Chargers defense, I don't think I gave it enough credit for how tenacious it was. I think we took the Chiefs game for granted, thinking it was the Chiefs. And I'm not saying that the Raiders have a great offensive line, but I thought that the Raiders had a better showing against the Patriots. And the Chargers just absolutely took away the run game. They made Geno Smith uncomfortable. He made costly mistakes when he shouldn't have. Ironically enough, he was playing in a dome, so that should have been elite Geno. And we got Geno Smith that was what all Raider fans are worried about, which is being turnover prone. And the Raiders defense, of course, being on the field for far too long because of 3 and outs, costly turnovers, as mentioned. I think the only saving grace is like the Chargers only put up 20 points, but honestly, they should have put up a lot more if they converted more in the red zone. And the Raiders, I think what's concerning is, we got to go and play the Commanders on the road. They're going to be without Jane Daniels. So that's going to be a very interesting matchup. Our defense, though, we've got to figure out on how to get pressure to the quarterback, how to be able to stay on our defenders when we're protecting the pass. And also, too, we've got to adjust to the game plan. If our offense isn't working, or if we stopped running with Geno Smith, who only had 11 carries, what are we doing the rest of the game? I know we were down a majority of it, but that's no way to run a balanced offense, especially with what Pete Carroll normally does. We can't just rely on Geno Smith to throw it 43 times. So I think that was my big takeaway. It was a tough game to watch on Monday Night Football. Everything that I asked of Raider Nation happened. They came in full force in Allegiant Stadium. They didn't allow Chargers Blue to really fill up the stadium. And it was just upsetting to see that, Raiders came out and they fell flat. I will say, though, too, this game could also just be a testament to how good the Chargers actually are this season, because I think I'm comfortable to say with how Justin Herbert played the first 2 weeks of the year so far, that I think he's in early discussions for MVP because of his performances the last 2 weeks against AFC opponents. And if he goes 3 for 3 on AFC West, I think he's the front runner for the NFL MVP, in my opinion.
I think both game plans last night for both teams didn't. You think of Pete Carroll and Jim Harbaugh, you think of running.
Yep.
But it looks like Najee Harris and Hampton only had 8 carries apiece, and then that's completely opposite of how I thought they were going to try to do that. But I don't know if necessarily it's the offense for the Chargers. The one person who continuously stands out to me for the Chargers is Henley on defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That dude, he was my player of the week last week for his game against the Chiefs. And he comes out the first play of the game, gets that deflection for an interception. And then I obviously didn't stay up and watch the whole game, but I put it on the radio to kind of fall asleep to. But I kept hearing his name. And he was even a game time decision if he was even going to play, because apparently he just wasn't feeling very good yesterday morning when he woke up. So, again, he's a captain of the team, so obviously the Chargers think highly of him. But if there's one thing, he's the one who has stood out to me the most in the first 2 weeks. And then I think if we are going to pick someone on the offensive side for the Chargers, we got to start looking at Johnston. Long touchdown catch. But he's starting to be more involved in what they're doing offensively. And I'm not going to discuss too much because I'm going to save it for a couple seggies from now, but kind of what the Chargers offense is going to look like, right? So as far as the Raiders go, Hampton had that first carry, and he just absolutely ran over the safety because we made the comment of, oh, okay. But then they didn't run it again the rest of the drive. So it's kind of like I called Sean Payton out for game planning last week and how he was doing his game planning. I think this go around, I get it. It's week 2, it's rivals. I think you got to get back to what you know and what you're comfortable doing. And I think you have 2 head coaches, old school coaches, who, man, I'd be real hard pressed to sit here and say that they're not going to try to get that run game established as we go on throughout the season.
Yeah, I think that's spot on with the Chargers. Because what's scary is, Cody, I think you're right. The Chargers offense, they haven't even really started going yet.
Mhm.
I think once Harbaugh actually gets this offense rolling how he wants, it's going to be scary. If they truly get, and they don't have to be a dominant run team with what Herbert's shown these first 2 weeks. If they just get a nice, consistent run game to where it's not eliminated when you have to game plan against them, it's scary to think that the Chargers haven't even hit even close to their peak offensively. And that's obviously coming from me. I was obviously not a believer in the Chargers, and they still have plenty of season to charger. But realistically, right now, through 2 weeks, outside of the Bills, I think they've had the 2 cleanest games. I mean, you could put the Colts.
I mean, they still only scored 20 points, guys. Like, let's not.
But we'll just use it. They could be leaning on that defense, which is apparently going to be a strength. Like what Hovind said. What if the defense says, "Hey, only go get us 20 points. We'll protect you." I'm not saying that's what you should shoot for, but that's also it's easier for the offense to improve, right? Especially with Harbaugh. He hasn't even run the ball. If you never watched football before, you're like, what do you mean Harbaugh's a smash mouth guy? He's airing it out. So I think it's scary that I think the Chargers are actually only going to get better over the next couple of weeks, just from what we've seen. Again, I hope they charger because of everything I said leading up to the season. I need them to not do this real quick for my sake. But in all reality, right now, through 2 weeks, and it's 2 weeks. It's an eighth of the season. Through 2 weeks, you do, moving forward until they prove otherwise, have to take them serious, very serious. I still won't when they play the Chiefs again, but that's just me. And then the Raiders. I'm with you on this one, Cory. That early run where Genty just trucks the safety, and then nothing, build off of that, that's a tone setter thing in today's. You're just going to put a safety on the ground like that. So I agree the game planning was rough, or the play calling was rough, but I still think the Raiders are okay. I think their defense is probably better than what we think. Not elite, but better. Again, because they did hold, again, some could be Chargers, but Jamal Adams is still flying around. That's so far knocked it out of the park. Him and Devin White, wonderful. I can't pronounce the dude's name who got 2 sacks, but that's a bright light if he can kind of consistently become a force. I don't. What's his name? I
think it's Jonah Lalalo.
Yeah,
that's it. So if he can kind of become a steady presence, I think the defense will help. The defense is in a good spot to keep improving as well. But I think Carroll and Chip Kelly need to get the offense together because there's too much talent to only get a few field goals in a game. Let's be honest. So again, it's week 2. There's still a lot of rust being knocked off for all teams. I still think both teams are okay. Nobody should be hitting the panic button for either of those teams. But I would like to see them both get back to their roots of smash mouth football to get a good read on them.
Maddie.
Yeah, and looking at it, going into this game, these teams matched up very well with each other. Offensively for the Chargers, we were talking about, they put up 20 points. Going into this game, it's only week 2, but they were ranked 7th in points per game. And the Raiders defense was ranked 6th in points allowed. So, I mean, they matched up very well. And it just eventually came down to, who's going to find the weak spot first and just kind of take off and run. And unfortunately for Cody, it was the Chargers, and they got away from the run game. And Cory, you and I are no strangers to that. How many times have the Broncos gone in and they were running the ball great and then they just get away from it?
Yep.
GT, I think, could have done better, and they just stopped giving him the ball. And it's so was that the game plan the entire time, or you just thought you saw something in their defense and you were going to try and expose it, and then it didn't work out for you? Now you're playing catch up. So Carroll's an old school coach, and sometimes, old school it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I think like you said, stick to what you know. Stick to what was working. And he just got away with it, and I'm not sure why. I think Henley, honestly, in my opinion, I think Henley's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. He actually is my player of the week. His stat line last night: 10 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 2 passes defense, and an interception.
Yeah, that's incredible.
I tried not to. I was like, I didn't want to pick the same, but like looking at that, and Tareem still was right behind him. Tareem still had a really good game as well, but it's hard to not pick Henley, just the way he, especially being sick. And, in pregame, they're talking about he got a round of antibiotics, he got antivirals, and it was like you couldn't even tell he was sick. So,
someone's going to get picked for a random drug test pretty soon.
That's what I'm thinking, man. But, I mean, it just, and I was saying at the beginning of the season, I think the Chargers defense is very underrated. I think their secondary is very underrated. But, like Austin said, they will find a way to charge her. Yeah. However, now I'm on the other side of the coin, and it's like Justin Herbert's kind of starting the season the way he did last year, where he didn't throw a pick until like week 4, and then he didn't throw another pick until almost the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So will we get the same results? Maybe not, but I mean, he's already starting off how he started last season. And if that continues, I mean, I don't want to see it after all the crap we talked about the Chargers.
I was going to say he's been listening to our show because he heard Austin talking shit and said, "I bet."
Boys. Yeah, sorry, boys.
I just they could very well win the division, and then it's going to make me sadder than anything because I said they were going to finish 3rd. But yeah, it was just at one point it was just who's gonna outcoach the other, and unfortunately, Carroll got outcoached.
Yeah, and I think to help prove your point on Henley, we're not just saying this because he's an AFC West player. Henley right now, I think his only true, again, it's 2 weeks, but I mean, that's where we're at right now. I think his only true legitimate competition for Defensive Player of the Year is Roquan Smith. Now, everyone knows how good he is, right? So if you're even mentioned in the same breath for anything with Roquan Smith, especially when you're similar positions, that's how dominant you've been. Because even right now, not as many people are talking about Henley as they are Roquan Smith. And it's just because of the name, but that's how good Henley's been.
I will also say, too, there's Myles Garrett will probably be one of the front runners, but the fact that Henley is doing what he's doing in a competitive team where Myles Garrett's team is not winning anything, it's the Browns. But the fact that Henley is doing what he's doing and being everywhere is amazing. But also, too, credit to the Chargers defense for making the Raiders offense one-dimensional. And I was saying this too in week 1 matchup with the Raiders and the Patriots. When you make a team one-dimensional, they're predictable. And like Ashton Genty had 11 carries, but he also had 4 targets, 3 receptions for 1 yard, which means when they took the run game away and they were covering down the field, all you were able to do was check it off to Genty, but he wasn't able to break it away because the defense was able to swarm. And when you do that, the Raiders looked like a team that was not prepared. And that is not something that Pete Carroll were accustomed to seeing. But again, credit to John Gruden, John Harbaugh, the Chargers, their defense. They were ready to play, and they were ready to play last week. And I know we're previewing ahead, but I'm curious to see how they prepare for the Broncos. And I feel like this is a very good test for these 2 up-and-coming teams to see who's really ready to take over the West. Because, I mean, as we'll probably we'll talk about shortly too, the Chiefs have an uphill battle on their hands with an 0-2 start.
Luckily, they have the Giants coming up, so all should be well in the kingdom. So
yeah, we'll see.
For now, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to talk too much about it. Like, we are where we're at. It's new for the bandwagoners. I know they're probably not sure how to handle it, but I've seen many a dark days in Kansas City. So let's hold our horses. But
I know all the bandwagon fans are like, man, we haven't seen an 0-2 start this bad since we had Alex Smith.
Right? It's like, oh, you don't remember the Brody Croyle days? Like, come on now. Yeah.
Tyler, what was it? Tyler Thigpen, was that right?
That's my guy. You leave his name out of your mouth.
Matt Castle.
Matt Castle.
No, so I'm gonna kind of transition us into the next seggy. This one was actually hard for me this week, mostly because I just thought I was going to pick Denver every week, and I can't pick Denver this week because we all saw what happened. Part of me wants to pick Kansas City because the defense actually stepped up this week and did a great job against the Eagles. I think a weird stat, Jalen Hurts still has no passing touchdowns on the year, and that's just a wild one to me. But honestly, I think after last night's game, I mean, the Austin's aerial attack has to go to the Chargers defense. Again, yes, the Raiders don't have an MVP quarterback, but they still have talent. Like, they have a plethora of talent, more than 9 points worth, right? Unless you're playing an incredible defense. I don't know. Like, Khalil Mack just doesn't seem to age. And I know we saw him get hurt. And I obviously, even though he's on the Chargers, don't want to see anyone get hurt. I would like to see the best of the best on the field. So I hope everything's good with Khalil Mack. But, man, we talked about it. That Chargers defense, anchored by Henley, Derwin James, like, I thought they were going to be a step worse this year given what happened in the secondary. But through 2 weeks, they seem even better than last year. I mean, they are just – is that a Harbaugh effect? It might be because they're just flying around, all of them. Outside of Mack and Derwin James, they don't really have household names yet. Henley's on his way. Fast on his way. So Austin's aerial attack is going to the Chargers defense. I don't know the total yardage or anything of the Raiders, but I know Geno threw 3 picks, held them to 9 points on the road. I don't care who the teams are. You hold a division opponent, and they're home to 9 points. You deserve recognition. You deserve credit. You deserve any positive thing you can say. So this week, it's going to the whole Chargers defense, not just a unit. It's the whole defense. They balled out, and they're very deserving of all the recognition they're getting so far.
I mean, I don't have any objections to that, just based on what we saw from all the teams. We damn sure knew it wasn't going to be Riley Moss, and we damn sure know it wasn't going to be anyone from the Raiders as far as that goes. It just wasn't a good week.
Jamal Adams was going to be my honoree again because the parts of that game I watched, that dude looks 23, flying around again. I, even as a Chiefs fan, hope we get to see 17 games of it because honestly, it's good for football.
I mean, it looks like he's playing with joy again.
It does. And I'm not a Raiders fan, but like, that's what as just a fan of football, that's what we enjoy seeing. So yes, it's the whole Chargers defense, but like, I just want to make sure Jamal Adams keeps getting love because right now he is an absolute blast to just he's a psycho out there, and it's beautiful.
Anyone got anything else on the aerial attack real quick?
No, I think the
Chargers.
we're all in
agreement it's the Chargers.
Yeah, best defense in the AFC West right now, I think.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, it hurts.
Yeah. So let's get into the crossfire real quick. I'm going to call out the Chiefs offense.
It's a good one.
I mean, I get it. You're down Worthy. You're down Rashee Rice for suspension. Travis Kelce, 4 catches, 61 yards. Patrick Mahomes, your leading rusher, 7 carries or scrambles, however you want to look at that, for 66 yards and a touchdown. And I believe he also bodied up another safety, if I remember correctly, again, which is becoming a thing. So
he's going to get laid out soon for this.
That's I mean, he's going to. They're going to see this opportunity. They're like, oh, yeah, I'm not going to be the next guy you body up. So here's, take this. But I'm going to call the Chiefs offense out. I get it. You're down receivers. Travis, it's time for you. You can't have a ball go through your hands for an interception and absolutely kill all the momentum that your team's trying to build, because I believe that would have given the lead. And I think if that happens, you get the lead, your defense feeds off that. Arrowhead feeds off that. And then who knows what the outcome is. I still think if he makes that play, I think the Chiefs do end up winning that game because, again, it's contagious. The energy is there. Tyquan Thornton, Hollywood Brown, where are you guys at? Like, it's time for you guys. You guys have to step up. Like, you have Patrick. And I know Patrick wants to do everything himself. Literally, the stats are showing that Patrick's trying to do everything himself. But that's not how this is going to work. If you're going to be successful and you're going to hold if you're going to hold the ship steady until Rashid Rice gets back in Worthy, whenever that is for Worthy, Thornton, Brown, Remigio. I mean, you got Juju Smith-Schuster. You're a veteran. You can step up. You've got to help out 15. And I'm putting it more on Travis.
Mhm.
I see a lot of him calling guys out on the sidelines. Be about it. Like you're supposed to be that guy. So I need to see 87 step up for his guys and be the leader. Be the leader that, you know, you guys have won Super Bowls. But again, I don't know if we can continuously. I mean, I'm enjoying this, by the way. I really am. The 0-2 start. It's fantastic. It couldn't happen to a better group of guys. But at the same time, you still want to see that we talk about championship mentality. I'm not seeing that out in anybody on the offense outside of Patrick Mahomes. So for this week's Crossfire, I'm calling out the Chiefs receivers, and I'm especially calling out Travis Kelce. It's time for you to step up and be the next man up.
Man, I wish I could sit here and argue. I wish I could defend my kingdom. I'm not going to go so far as the whole receivers, but I am 1,000% going to get behind you on Travis Kelce. The only reason I'm going to say this is because week 1 against Chargers, he also ran an incorrect route at the 5-yard line, where if he would have just continued doing what he does, like don't give up on your route, you were wide open. That was another one that was going to put us in the lead. We ended up not scoring a touchdown. So this is back-to-back weeks now. 2 go-ahead touchdown opportunities there and off the board. I agree. Receivers have to step up too. The sad thing is we were coming into the season saying we should call it the Chiefs offensive line. They've actually been okay. Josh Simmons last week allowed 0 pressures.
Yeah.
I mean, Jawan Taylor's still booty cheeks, but you can't have all 5 just working. But I agree.
And also on the pick. So
dudes that size aren't supposed to be moving that fast.
No.
Honestly, and I know they ended up scoring off of that pick anyway, but like in previous years, a play like that would have juvenated the team so hard. But like watching the game, it did nothing. Like I was more excited. The broadcasters doing the game were more excited. You look at the Chiefs sideline, not a damn thing. No energy, no hype. Like what's happening? Like I don't something is off right now. So I don't have anything to even counter argue what my brother said. Somebody has to figure it out, because Patrick is playing the best football we've ever seen from him. The stats aren't showing it because, again, he's having to do it himself. You know, he can't throw a 60-yard bomb to himself to, you know, get those passing stats up. But right now, this is the best football Patrick Mahomes has ever played, and we're 0-2. Someone has to step up. Kareem Hunt, Isaiah Pacheco, Travis Kelce. Thornton's been getting open quite a bit. There's been a couple missed deep shots with him, so I think there's some chance there. But, like, I can't argue with you. Right now, Chiefs offense very much should be in the crosshairs, minus Patrick. So,
Maddie, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I want to try and take a different route, but it's just so hard because, like, you guys all bring up good points. Like, what is going on with the Chiefs right now? That entire offense, like, Pat Mahomes, this is the second week in a row, he's put the team on his back and he's trying to claw them back in, but you can't just use one person. You need a whole team. Travis Kelce was one of the leaders. I'm saying was because he's not a leader. In my mind, he's not a leader anymore. I don't see him making plays. I don't see him trying to work in the space. Things that he used to be so good at. Again, I call it out almost every week. When the play is breaking down and it's a busted play, Mahomes and Kelce already have this chemistry where, like, hey, if it's broken, find open space and I'm going to hit you. And that's what they were so good at. You're not seeing that now. That how many times have we ever seen Kelce, like, drop a pass or tip a pass like the one he just did? And that changed the whole momentum of the game. Yep. Because that just sucked the life out of them. And when plays like that happens. It just sucks the life out of you. But did they even go into this game with any life? Like, did that loss in the Super Bowl really suck the life out of you that much that you can't? 6 months wasn't enough to get over it. It looks abysmal. And,
yep.
you know, I mean, I'm taking great pleasure in it because it's finally nice to see the Chiefs kind of fall. But at the same time, where's that excitement? Where's Pat Mahomes jumping up and down as he's running out of the tunnel? Where is Kelsey like trying to hype anyone up? Where is Pacheco, who used to run like he's a kid trying on shoes at a Payless? Where is all that? Right?
Don't see how fast I am.
Yeah.
Right? Where is everyone? And you're not seeing that anymore. So it's like, whatever it is, they need therapy, whatever you need to do, but do something and quick, because we're already middle of the week going into week 3. The season's gonna it's gonna go fast. It's gonna go fast. So you need to find your rhythm and you need to find it quick.
Yeah, I think the sad thing is, as a Chiefs fan and hearing and saying all these things about Kels, it's hard because I mean, for the last decade plus, he's been that guy. He's going to go down as one of the greatest tight ends to ever play. He's going to be one of the greatest postseason players of all time. I think that's the hardest part of this, is like you're starting to see the back end of his career. And then that's probably the hardest part of it all. Like, we want people to step up, but kind of seeing this, can we call it a downfall of Kels? Like, just right before our eyes? Like, can we call it a downfall? Is it more than that? Am I over-exaggerating it? I don't know. But I think that's the hardest part of this Cory's Crossfire right now is, this is a legend that we're talking about, but it's not there this year.
Cody?
I think when I look at the Chiefs and when I watch their game on Sunday, I'm looking at a team that is undisciplined and unprepared, which is very rare for an Andy Reid team to have. And I think a couple of things too. I do want to credit the defense a little bit because they held the Eagles to only 20 points. In fact, I'm looking at the stats right now. They only gave up 216 total yards to the Eagles. That's it. And in fact, the Chiefs almost had 300 yards as a team. And again, the one red zone turnover that they had was the one that cost them the game. And Patrick Mahomes rushing it for a touchdown, literally being Superman, as Jeff has pointed out in the comments, doing it on his own. And yet here you have the defense standing their ground. And yet the rest of the offense just doesn't feel like they know what they're doing. I don't know if that's a Matt Nagy thing. I don't know if that is Andy Reid is not paying attention to details. I see a team that has not gotten over the Super Bowl loss, and it feels like that, unfortunately, this is your guys' Super Bowl hangover. I'm not saying you guys are going to lose the season like 2-14, but will you guys probably be like 10-7 fighting for a playoff spot? Realistically, if you guys keep playing like this, now granted, like week 6, I think is when there's light at the end of the tunnel with Rashee Rice coming back, or week 7, excuse me, Rashee Rice coming back. The offense is getting a little bit more firepower, but outside of that, like it's going to be a lot of these grinded out kind of games. And are the Chiefs prepared enough for that? Which is kind of odd to say for an Andy Reid team. And I think that's what I see the Chiefs as. Like Patrick Mahomes, I think, has done everything he's supposed to this offseason to step up as a leader, as a guy that's going to win games. And he almost did. And I don't see any rescue from anybody else on this team. I don't see it from Pacheco. I don't see it from Kels. And Thornton, I think, is the only bright shining star that you guys have, outside of the fact that he's just a young receiver that's still learning the ropes. And unfortunately, like, he has to be the number one guy at the moment because nobody else has really stepped up for that. And that's not fair to Patrick. But, we'll see if there's a bounce back game against the Giants. And I'm not sure because, I'm not saying that the Giants have an all-world defense, but they're not an easy out. And
they're a pretty good defense for sure.
They have a pretty good defense. I think that Chiefs still have the work cut out for them. But if there's ever a bounce back game that they need, it's the Giants, because the Chiefs are not coming back from an 0-4 start. I don't care how many healthy players they have coming back. 0-4 is, I wouldn't say a death sentence, but the likelihood is very small compared to what everybody else is doing. So that's what I'll say about that. And I'm really hoping that Andy Reid turns it around. I'm not saying that I want the Chiefs to be successful. I think I'm just more sad in that, like, the team looks like this and Andy Reid is the head coach. I feel like there's something wrong here.
And I'm going to, it's not really bold. Chiefs are going to win this weekend. Okay. Stop it. Giants are a shit show. But Broncos, I see some comments over here. Broncos will be 4-13. Shit, man, at this rate, the way they're playing, if the defense continues to do that, 4-13
wouldn't surprise me.
Wouldn't surprise at all. But bolt up Chargers. Okay. I mean,
you guys can have it. It's
we talked at the beginning. I mean, the Chargers deserve it right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I still think that Harbaugh will need to get the run game going in order for them to be successful deeper. And just, I think they need to get over the hump of the Chargers will Charger. So, I mean, again, Broncos will be 4-13. I mean, if they continue to do what they're doing, I might even go 3-14, and we can discuss that later on down the road. But
if we get to like midway point and Denver's like,
I will not
2-9 and Chiefs are like 1-8.
We started this podcast for no damn reason.
And I'm gonna blame the podcast for it.
I'm gonna blame the podcast. It's gonna be like, well, we gave it a good run. Like,
that was a good season.
I don't want to continue to sit here and talk about L's. So I mean,
Netflix isn't gonna renew us.
Netflix is gonna renew us. We're gonna shit down our leg a little bit. I thought that comment was funny. It's like, what is this, a division losers only podcast? Well,
pretty much, dude.
Nailed it. So thanks for the comment over there in the chat. So
we can't argue.
Yeah.
Anything else in the Crossfire before we move on to the old M.I.L.F report?
No, but I can't wait for this M.I.L.F report because I have a feeling it's going to be steamy.
Well, it has no leverage.
No.
It has no leverage. That was that Broncos penalty. Has some kind of leverage.
I mean, I don't even know enough about that rule to even speak on it. And even if I did, I mean, at the end of the day, the way the Broncos played, whether that penalty happened or not, they can't be playing like that and expect to win a football game. But So, yeah, I actually had 2 matchups to watch for. My first one was the Raiders secondary against the Chargers receivers, and they had a great showing against the Patriots. Again, talked about how they formed that shell defense around New England's receivers, didn't really allow much. And it was a different story. I think once Quentin Johnston got that long ball for the touchdown, I mean, that again is one of those plays that just sucks the life out of you. And that was that. I mean, and it wasn't just Quentin Johnston. Keenan Allen, he went off. Lad McConkey, he didn't score any touchdowns, but he still had 4 catches for 50 some odd yards. So, I mean, the Chargers defense or at least their receivers kind of just did what they wanted. And there was no resistance there. And I was expecting more of a fight. I mean, it's very hard to shut Keenan Allen down. It's very hard to shut Lad McConkey down. Quentin Johnston, he's miles ahead of where he was his rookie year. But I was still expecting, not to give up a long ball like that. You're not going to give up that many big plays, and they did. And moving forward to the other matchup was going to be, Cory and I had talked about it, how was the Broncos run defense going to handle Jonathan Taylor? And my goodness gracious, 164 yards. And again, it wasn't even like it was a bounce to the outside. He exposed an area that I wanted them to address in the offseason, and they did not. He exposed that interior line and just gashed the defense. It was a clown car to watch. The wheels just came off. They tried to get the spare tires on. Those came off too. It was just nothing went right from the Colts offense entirely. Just whatever they wanted to do, they did, and there was no resistance there. So that's my M.I.L.F matchup.
Yeah, that's the Daniel Jones effect.
It's not, but it's so we had obviously Jackson on last week from Colts Brigade, and I think we had a really good in-depth kind of scouting report on what we thought, and everything that we feared it happened. So, and we know if us 4 and Jackson, and if we're talking about it, then Shane Steichen and those guys see it too, matching up. Getting Jonathan Taylor matched up with the linebackers. I've hated our linebackers since it's been a while since I've actually had good linebackers that I enjoyed watching. We need Dre Greenlaw in the worst way possible, and it's starting to show. And it's not that I don't like Alex Singleton. Alex Singleton is just not the coverage guy, and it showed. Jonathan Taylor out in the flats, all the flat routes. And then we talked about Alec Pierce being a deep ball guy. 1 catch for, I think, 40, 50 yards, close to 50 yards. Tyler Warren. So anything and everything that we had talked about, Denver needing to make sure that they had ironed out and tightened up, they absolutely did not. And I can confidently say that if our offense is going to put up 28 points each week, we've got to win those games. This is especially when you're talking, this is the best defense. This is the best defense. We can stop doing that now. They have a lot more to show. This is almost worse. This not worse, but they gave up 70 points to Miami. They came back. They had an okay bounce back. I need to see a little bit more aggressive play this week. I want to see them absolutely beat the brakes off the Chargers, and I want them to get to Justin Herbert 6 times. And not necessarily sacks, but they got to hit him, make him feel it. I need to see Vance Joseph coach pissed for a change. I think as the game progressed against the Colts, he finally started showing pressure, but it's like you could have done that the whole game and we wouldn't have been in this situation. So, again, they let Daniel Jones get comfortable. And, again, it's not all Danny Dimes effect. It's more of Vance Joseph just not coaching and making adjustments properly. I need to see more aggressive play from Vance Joseph, and it's going to be a long season as far as that goes.
You still got to give some credit where credit is due, and that credit is going to go to Daniel Jones. Anyway, Cody, anything on that?
You're just gloating because you were right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying he did what he needed to do. Get the ball to the people around.
He did. He took care of business.
And
yeah.
I can't even argue that point. Yeah, he did.
But
I said whatever he wanted to do, he did.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it was more like you watch the game. They didn't have him play Superman. Hey, get it to Jonathan Taylor. Hey, hit your drop back, launch it to Alec Pierce. That worked. Hey, get a quick pass to Tyler Warren. Like, they weren't asking him to do everything. Just do these things to get it into the actual playmaker's hands, and he did it. I don't expect him to come out and all of a sudden look like Lamar Jackson, but he's doing what's asked of him, and right now it's been enough. I was expecting a significantly larger pushback from Denver's defense. So, yes, a lot of credit or not credit is going to go to Denver's defense for doing whatever the hell it is they tried to do. Because I was the one on record saying this Denver's defense is the reason they're going to win the West. And through 2 weeks, I was not right about that.
Well, through 1 week. I mean, they did fine against the Titans.
There was also a lot of dropped passes for the Titans. And that was a slobber knocker every game. But, I only said through 2 weeks because 2 weeks second week ended. But I'm just as shocked as most people are with how Denver's defenses look. So, yes, I'm going to give Danny Jones a little bit of credit, not as much as one would probably expect, but a lot of it is still Denver's defense. Every hole they have on their defense, it didn't just get exposed. It got abused.
Mm-hmm.
So they obviously have to clear that up because it's a copycat league and teams are going to copycat it until you prove you can stop it. So they got some work to do.
I'm surprised that Shane Steichen outcoached Sean Payton.
I don't know if necessarily who it was. Let's not act like that final 2 minutes didn't just happen.
I'm going to be honest, Cory. I'm surprised your Crossfire wasn't going to be Vance Joseph in the Crossfire because that defense allowed 9 straight points from the third quarter to the end of the game. And I don't know if the Colts defense is that elite to have stopped your offense from getting a field goal, from getting into the red zone. But there seemed to be, once the third quarter after the Colts were getting momentum, like the Broncos, played tough defense, but for some reason, like their defense, it feels like we're still waiting for them to activate, and I felt like the Colts game would have been a very good, all right, we're going to push back a little bit. But it felt like, again, like the Colts were able to do a lot of things that the Broncos defense shouldn't have allowed, like Danny Dimes to throw over 300 yards, Taylor to get 165 rushing yards, a rookie tight end to kind of tear up the defense a little bit. So it just felt like Vance Joseph could have called a better defensive game and not got exposed as what the Colts offense did.
There's 2 things.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 things. Absolute dog shit of a second half to start the second half by Sean Payton. Terrible. Like, you're coming out, I get it. You want to take the shot at the jugular. We still have a second-year quarterback, man. Like, you still have got to get him comfortable before you start taking shots. Trying to throw 3 deep passes, going 3 and out, is not the answer, at all. So I'm still not happy with that. So a little bit of that second half to start is on Sean Payton and trying to take run the ball 3 times, or get the run established, then take your shot. And then my second part is,
hold on, Matt.
If Denver doesn't,
I'm letting them go, but
if that penalty doesn't happen to end the game, it's a 60-yard field goal. Let's talk about the dipshit move by Shane Steichen to not even try to get his, that is the absolute most Nathaniel Hackett move I've ever seen in my life, if I've seen one. You have a guy who has never kicked a 50-yard field goal in his career, and you're going to sit there and play as conservative as Shane Steichen does for a 60-yard kick. That penalty doesn't happen. He kicks it 45 yards the opposite direction, right? Broncos win. And then we're sitting here saying, Shane Steichen, could you coach any worse in that situation? So, yes and no. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and say Shane Steichen outcoached anybody, because he did everything he fucking could to absolutely blow that game for the Colts.
Sure. I can buy that for $1.
No, sorry. It was even because, Cory just reminded me, part of the thing that, pissed me off with Sean was that 3rd and 3. We were on the Colts 30, and it's 3rd and 3. Dobbins just broke off a big run. Give it to Dobbins. Let him pick up that 3. Even if you don't get it, you're in field goal range. That's a chip shot for Lutz. And you elect to throw it. Now, one of the woes that the Broncos had last season was batted balls at the line. Bo Nix actually led the league. I think he had, by the end of the year, he had 7 or 8 batted balls at the line. I counted 5 yesterday. Or not yesterday, excuse me, Sunday. I counted 5 tipped passes. And that pass that he threw on 3rd and 3 was tipped and ultimately intercepted. You gave the momentum back. And Cory brought it up last week, the play calling. Why 3rd and 3? Stop throwing. Run the ball, man. He threw 30 passes yesterday. God, I keep wanting to say yesterday. That's how infuriated I am. All right? he threw 30 passes. I mean, some quarterbacks end up with that much, but you threw 40 the first week. You threw 30 on Sunday. You've already thrown 70 passes, and we're only in week 2.
Mm-hmm.
You started out great. You were mixing it up. There was one drive, I think it was 12 plays, and it was very well versed with run and pass. And then all of a sudden you just get away from it. From why? Why are you getting away with it? Dobbins would have had I was like, this is it. Dobbins is going to get 100 yards. We're going to have our 100-yard rusher. And we didn't. I'm infuriated again. I'm done before
Yeah, sorry, Mom, for the F word. I was just getting fired up about that because I can't stand for
Mom, the meatloaf.
I can't let that happen. Yes, man, so, coach, but Shane Steichen, no, get out of here.
So are you guys still comfortable with Sean Payton and his play calling then?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. All right. I think Sean's pretty good at righting the ship. It's just he's got to stick to the game plan. That's all.
All right. You guys say so.
Man, it sounds like I'm not the 0-2 team in this room, but I am.
I know we actually have.
It's not about you, Austin.
No, I'm just saying,
I guess I could see from Cory and Matt's perspective, they were, and this is why, I think we talked about this before the start of the season, all the hype that the Broncos had going into this year of they're going to win the West, they're going to fight for the AFC title. They were being kind of pushed up into that bracket where they're going to compete with the Bills now, or they're going to, dethrone the Chiefs. And it's well, look, we got a 2nd-year quarterback. We got to see what we have. We have this elite defense on paper. And I think when we all talked about it, it was there's this optimism and this excitement. And now we're feeling the deflation of okay, I thought we were better than this. And now we're figuring out, granted, it's the first 2 weeks of the season. I think by week 4 or 5, you guys will probably figure it out and it'll right itself. But you guys have a tough matchup coming up on Sunday against the Chargers, who right now are one of the top teams in the NFL at the moment. And to not be on track, or at least heading in the right direction, and I'll speak for this as a Raiders, we got our asses handed to us because they took away the thing that we should have done. And if Sean Payton's not even running the ball already, what's that going to do for the Chargers defense that they're playing into their game plan? So
because we still saw improvements from week 1 to week 2 with Bo. I mean, I can comfortably say that because he still had, outside of the 1 interception, he still had 3 touchdowns, and he used his legs a little more. And I think the positive, and there's positives that came out of this, was they took out Cortland Sutton. That's going to happen a lot this year. If defensive coordinators know what they're doing, they're going to take Cortland Sutton out of this. But now you see Troy Franklin step up. That's what we didn't have last year. now we have this. We have Troy Franklin. Marvin Mims caught a touchdown. I'd like to see Evan Ingram get a little bit more involved, but I know he's banged up, and they're being smart with how they're using Evan Ingram. I'm fine with that for now. So, again, those are the games you have to win. And, Cody, I told you last week about Pete Carroll's trying to teach the Raiders how to not to lose, right? Like, yes, you can be a culture changer. You can do the certain things, but now you have to learn to get over. You got to learn how to win the games and not lose. And I think Sean Payton's still trying to get that established with Bo Nix and the team. So once we get that kind of it will be fine. Denver's going to be fine.
Yep. I think we'll see. I mean, again, week 2, the sky's falling on all of us right now, except if you're a Chargers fan. So
yeah, theirs will fall soon enough. It's gonna start falling this week. Full prediction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get some fantasy football talk, boys.
That's right.
JBW
Fall.
All right. Sponsored by JBW Solutions.
It is our fantasy football frenzy. So I want everyone's sleeper first. So, Cody, you're a Raiders fan. You go first.
All right. So I think a sleeper that everyone should be looking to add to their team, especially if you need help in certain receiver parts, unless you've got injury. Rondell Robinson from the Giants right now. I think he had like 12 targets. He had another like 8 targets, and it looks like he has a connection with Russell Wilson. And honestly, too, Robinson has been an underrated like player that you could add for the last couple of seasons, where he's always a go-to target. Brian Daboll loves him. So I would say if you need a flex option, Rondell Robinson is a great option in my opinion. And I'm sorry to say this, Austin, the Chiefs wide receiver cornerbacks are kind of a bit suspect right now. So with Neighbors and you have Robinson, I feel like that's a friendly matchup for Robinson if you added him to your roster. So that's who I would say for my fantasy sleeper.
I like it. I like it so much I drafted him. So he is underrated. He's like a PPR cheat code.
Yeah.
I kind of hate it because I was going to use Wan'Dale Robinson as my sleeper. So now that you did that, I'm like, what am I going to do here?
Great minds think alike, sir.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with my dude. I think it'll be a breakout week this week. I'm not saying go at him, but if you're doing like daily fantasy lineups, I think he'd be a good cheap option. And I think that's my boy Thornton from the Chiefs. See him getting a little more and more going on. Giants, their good defense comes from up front. So if we can lock up a couple plays where Thornton can get deep, it's very beatable against the Giants. So I'm going to go with not necessarily in like a redraft league, but more daily fantasy football. I think Thornton would be a nice sleeper, cheap option to throw in there.
I'm going to go with Jake Browning. I think it's going to be his show and probably until December. So he knows the offense. He's got the targets. He knows T. Higgins. He knows Jamar Chase, and I think they'll get Chase Brown going a little bit as well. So with all the quarterback injuries going on right now, I think you can snatch up Browning and call it good. Matt?
Yeah, and for me, I'm going to go Tyler Algier from the Falcons. He had a great game on Sunday. He had 16 carries for 76 yards. He's an all-around back. You can use him in the flats. I think he had a great game. He's playing the Panthers on Sunday, and that combination between him and Bijan Robinson, I think you're gonna probably see a similar game to what he had last week against the Vikings. So Algier from the Falcons is my sleeper.
Love that.
Perfect. And we'll call that good for the fantasy football frenzy. Today, it's been a long, about hour and a half for us. So, Maddie, take us home.
All right. Again, guys, thank you for tuning into the show. We are going to drop the Chris Hovan episode pretty soon. So just make sure you guys are following the West War Room Rivals YouTube channel for that. It's a great show. We had a good time. He had a great time. Can't wait for you guys to see it. Thank you to our sponsors, starting with JBW Solutions. Again, veteran-owned, community-driven, safety-focused, Emporia State Federal Credit Union, Field Ops, Spy Optics. Make sure you use code ORANGE20 to get 20% off your entire purchase. Badger Barrel Cookers, In a World of Butterflies, Be a Badger. And Homage, they just welcomed us to their I guess you can say culture, I guess. So all the links are in the description. Make sure you guys go check them out. And thank you for tuning in. That is all. West War Room Rivals, where rivals collide.
See you, everybody.